I work for a corporate catering company in Nashville, Tennessee. Mostly I am just a driver. I spend most of my time behind the wheel of a massive van, hauling equipment and food between events, usually until very late. It is not my dream job, but it pays the bills. The problem is the absurd schedule. Either I get home completely wired on adrenaline and caffeine, or I collapse into bed and sleep like a stone for hours. On a Thursday, around 1:30 in the morning, I was driving home after a corporate event that ran way too long. I had just dropped the van off at the company's lot and was finally in my own car. When I took my exit off Interstate 65, I realized there was absolutely no way I was falling asleep anytime soon. I had downed about 3 coffees during the event, and my stomach was completely empty. There is a Waffle House right off the highway exit about 8 minutes from my place. I am not big on fast food, but right then, it sounded perfect. The parking lot was almost empty, which makes sense for a Thursday night. I walked in, ordered at the window, and while I was waiting, I noticed a car. It was a beat-up gray Dodge Neon backed into the darkest corner of the lot, far away from all the other spaces. The restaurant was open, so it wasn't impossible for it to be a customer, but nobody was getting in or out of that car. The windows were way too dark to see anything inside. I thought it was strange, but I grabbed my food and drove away without thinking much of it. I did not feel like going home just yet. I needed some fresh air. I grew up in Brentwood, which borders Nashville, and there is a huge state park right on the edge of it called Radnor Lake. During the day, it is packed, but after it closes, the trails become completely inaccessible to cars. However, there is a side trail that locals use to hike up to a point overlooking the city. Back in high school, my friends and I used to go there every single week. It had been about 2 years since I last stepped foot up there. When I arrived at the informal parking area by the side of the road, which is basically just a patch of dirt where locals pull over, it was completely empty. I turned off the engine, and then the headlights appeared. Another car pulled in slowly into the exact same dirt space. The gray Dodge Neon. The exact same car. I am absolutely 100% sure of it. I froze. My brain instantly started listing the possibilities. It was almost 2 o'clock in the morning. I had left the Waffle House, driven around for about 15 minutes with no fixed destination, and that specific car ended up in the exact same spot as me. They had followed me. The car just sat there, no movement, no sound. I stared into my rearview mirror for perhaps an entire minute. Nothing. Maybe it is a coincidence, I told myself. Maybe it is just people looking for a quiet spot. But I could not shake that heavy, suffocating feeling in my chest. I grabbed my phone and called my friend Marcus, who lives about 5 minutes away. We have known each other since the 6th grade. He is the type of person who stays up late into the morning. He answered on the second ring. He said he was just watching a series. I told him I needed him to come down here right now. I did not go into details, but he knew from the tone of my voice that it was serious. 15 minutes, he said. While I waited, I did not take my eyes off the neon. Nothing changed. No door opened, no window rolled down. When Marcus's headlights finally appeared at the entrance, I let out a breath I did not even realize I was holding. We both got out of our cars and started hiking up the trail. Before we rounded the very first bend and lost sight of the parking area, I looked back. All 4 doors of the neon opened at the exact same time. 4 men stepped out. They just stood there without saying a word, looking at each other and then searching the area around them. I nudged Marcus. He saw them too. "Just keep walking," he muttered under his breath. We hiked up to the overlook. It is a wide rock plateau with a rusty metal railing on the edge, and from there you can see the lights of Nashville stretching across the entire valley. Even in that situation, the view slowed me down for a brief second. We sat down on a wide flat rock, ate our food, and talked. For a moment, it felt like we had just overreacted out of pure paranoia. And then we heard footsteps and laughter coming up the trail. 3 men walked out into the clearing. They looked relaxed, sharing a cigarette. They walked straight in our direction, as if we were their exact destination. The one leading them wore a Nashville Predators hockey jacket and several rings on his fingers. He gave us a crooked smile and offered the cigarette. We refused. One of the other guys made a joke that I did not find funny at all. Then, without thinking, I asked them what they were doing back at the Waffle House earlier. The guy's smile instantly vanished. All three of them stopped moving. They stared at me completely silent for about 5 seconds that felt like 5 long minutes. And then I remembered. There were 4 of them in the car, not 3. The guy finally spoke up, saying he worked the night shift at a warehouse nearby and that they always came up to this overlook after work. He pulled open his jacket, showing an employee ID badge pinned to his shirt. It might have been the truth, but something felt completely wrong, and I could see it in Marcus's face that he felt it too. "We are heading down," I said. As we turned toward the trail, Marcus suddenly stopped and gripped my arm tightly. I looked in the direction he was pointing. Deep between the trees, about 40 feet off the path, there was a figure standing perfectly still in the pitch blackness. The 4th man. He was holding something, a bar, a flashlight. It was too dark to tell. The exact second he realized we were staring at him, he started walking directly toward us. We ran. We sprinted down that dark trail faster than I ever thought possible. I could hear their footsteps crashing through the brush behind us, all 4 of them now, and I did not look back, not even once, until I saw the headlights of our cars. We jumped in, slammed the gas, and tore out of there. In my rearview mirror, I saw all 4 of them sprinting back toward the neon. I called Marcus immediately on the speakerphone. I told him I was not going straight home. I did not want them to know where I lived. We met up at a gas station on Charlotte Avenue and parked there for about 20 minutes, until we were absolutely sure we had not been followed. Our adrenaline was still through the roof when Marcus handed me his phone. He had managed to snap a photo of the 3 men at the overlook without them ever noticing. The next day, we went back to the Waffle House. We showed the photo to an employee who looked like a veteran worker there. Her expression changed before we even finished our story. She recognized the man in the Predator's jacket. He used to date a girl who worked there for almost a year. She broke up with him at the beginning of the summer. He did not accept it. He started showing up at her shifts, sending random text messages, lurking outside when she clocked out. Management had called the police. He disappeared for a while, but lately he had started returning to the parking lot at night, just sitting in his car for hours. A restraining order had been issued against him just the month before. He was violating that order every single time he showed up there. The employee went completely pale when we told her that he had followed us all the way to Radnor Lake. We left our numbers for the manager and told them they had the photo in case the police needed it. It has been 10 days now. I have not gone back to that Waffle House or that trail since. I do not know what that man wanted from us. Maybe nothing. Maybe something I prefer not to imagine. What I do know is that if Marcus had not shown up that night, I would have walked up that dark trail completely alone. And that is what keeps running through my mind every time I try to close my eyes and sleep. I have always liked walking late at night. When everything is quiet, it feels like your problems get smaller. I have been a mechanic fixing trucks and farm equipment for more than 30 years. I live alone on a rural property in the countryside of Tennessee, just me and my dog, Frida. The house has too many rooms for one person. But after I lost Connie to a stroke, I never had the heart to leave. My 2 children moved away years ago, so now it is just me and Frida. One night, after a long, exhausting day in the workshop, I decided to take a walk around the property. A single lap is usually enough to clear my head. The air was cool and damp. The smell of rain was in the air. Frida was walking ahead of me, as always. I think she tolerates me better than most people do. I had walked that exact same path hundreds of times. But on the way back to the house, something caught my eye. The window on the 2nd floor, the back bedroom. The one Connie and I shared for all those years. For a split second, it looked like there was a silhouette moving around inside. I stopped dead in my tracks and just stared. There was absolutely no reason for anyone to be up there. I had not stepped foot in that room since the funeral. I just could not bring myself to do it. Suddenly, my blood boiled. The sheer thought of a stranger inside my house made me lose my mind. I ran inside and took the stairs 2 at a time. Nothing. The bedroom was exactly how I had left it, untouched. I searched every single corner and found absolutely nothing. I was shaken, yes, but mostly I was angry. I am not a man who scares easily. I figured I had probably just seen the reflection of the moon on the glass. I stood there feeling like an idiot, but that uneasy feeling just would not go away. The next night, I woke up to Frida growling softly. She never does that for no reason. Never. I sat up in bed listening, and then I heard it. Creaks in the ceiling. Slow, rhythmic creaks. It could have been the old house settling, sure. But my mind went straight to another place. Footsteps, coming from the room right above mine. I did not even have to think twice to know which room that was. I thought about grabbing the shotgun from the hallway closet, but decided it had not come to that just yet. 30-something years of hard physical labor leave a man reasonably confident in his own hands. I grabbed my flashlight and went upstairs. Once again, nothing. Everything was the same, untouched. But this time the anger was mixed with something else. A deep, unsettling chill that I could not quite put into words. Something was entirely wrong with that house. 2 days later, I went downstairs to the kitchen to get some water, and the lights were completely on. I was absolutely certain that I had turned them off before going to bed. I have done that every single night for years. There was no ignoring it anymore. I called the sheriff. 2 deputies came out, searched the whole place, and found nothing. They were polite, they left a business card, but you could tell they just thought I was a lonely old man seeing things. Maybe they were right, but I did not believe that for a second. The worst night came about 1 week later. I could not sleep, so I decided to go up and check the room one more time. I do not know what I expected to find. Maybe I just wanted to convince myself that everything was fine. I opened the door very slowly, and I froze. There were clothes scattered all over the floor. Connie's clothes. I had packed everything into boxes right after the funeral and put them away in the closet. Now they were thrown across the floorboards, as if someone had violently ripped through them. That does not just happen. Boxes do not open themselves. And then I saw her. A woman was standing near the window, completely motionless, staring straight at me. I could not see her face clearly, but I knew instantly it was not Connie. She was shorter, smaller, a complete stranger. I do not think I have ever felt so much fear in my entire life, and I have been through a lot. But the fear lasted for only a second, then something else took over. I charged right at her. She spun around, bolted down the stairs like lightning, ran out the back door, and vanished into the pitch-black night. I went after her with Frida. We searched the entire property. Not a single trace of her, anywhere. I did not sleep a single wink that night. For months after that, every little noise put me on high alert. The wind hitting the siding of the house, the floorboards creaking from the cold. Everything made me jump. I started sleeping with my shotgun leaning against the nightstand. I thought about asking my brother-in-law to come stay with me for a few days, but I did not do it. I was raised to handle my own problems. I have always been that way. But it was not over. One night, I was sitting in the living room watching television, and I happened to look out the window. She was there, standing right in the middle of the yard, looking directly at me. I stood up, grabbed the shotgun, and walked out onto the porch. Frida came with me, already growling. The woman did not run away immediately. She just stood there, a dark silhouette against the night sky, as if she were testing me. I raised the gun and fired 2 warning shots straight into the air. This time she ran. She disappeared into the trees at the back of the property. I stood out there for a very long time, just waiting. She has not come back. I have not seen her since that night, but I do not feel safe. I live my life waiting for the next sound, the next reflection in the window, the next shadow standing in the yard. It is no way to live. I know that. But as long as I have Frida by my side, I think I can handle it. I will post an update if anything else happens.